What's up? Let's see what I got here. I got my regular intro going. What's up? How you doing this evening, Matthew? Art? Wish I had some more videos I could show. Don't have any set up right now. I guess I could see what I got here on Sunday. Okay. That's not it. New live playback. See what I got there. Nope. Nothing interesting there. Sorry, guys. What's up, Joseph? I ain't got no extra videos to show. Which ones do you want to talk about, Joseph? Well, what topics do you want to talk about? I'm gonna have probably in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I'm gonna have probably 4 or 5 nose rings ready for sale. I'm gonna have long-lived coins, auction them off. We could talk about. You guys know about Arcadia Economics? They're going to start pushing crystallized osmium now. They got I think them and Chris and Yara are friends with Ian. Chris and Yara of Arcadia Economics are going to start. I don't know if Rafi's going to be part of it. What's up, Jim? I know Chris and Yara are going to get on the crystallized osmium bandwagon. Yeah, very, very shortly. And it'll be sold out and within 2 years. It's going to be silver on steroids. So I would suggest buying some now. As it's rather cheap. Oh, that's the one video I had. Where was that located at? Damn, did I put it on Sunday? Nope, not on Sunday. Live playback gold. Let's do live playback, see if it's there. I wish these things were labeled in time. Oh well. Screw the videos, guys. I ain't got no videos. No videos to show. Anyone want to come up? Links pinned at the top. Silver is doing quite well. I actually caught that one female that was left. She's pregnant. I actually caught her today. She's going to be taken care of and then re-released back out here. And I'm probably going to keep her as an inside cat because she doesn't have all of her mental facilities, and I don't think she will make a good outside survival cat. She's just not all there. So I'm gonna bring her on the inside, save her ass. But Silver's doing fine. He's gonna get his nuts cut off along with Striker here in the next couple months. So that way I don't have to put up with them urinating all over the house trying to spread their scent when you're not going to be able to do anything, and I'll have to clean it up. Not really looking forward to that. What's Kensington Avenue, Matthew? Trying to see here. No, that's not a good one either. Yeah, I think he's playing with your art. Jim's got a sense of humor. So what do you guys want to discuss this evening? Or does anyone want to come up on panel? Y'all's call. It's called YouTube. What's up, Finn? Finn 59 Shaw for the win. Finn for the win. I don't give financial advice, but now would be a decent time for the ratio, because what is the gold silver ratio right now? I don't even know. Gold to silver ratio. What is the gold to silver ratio right now? Currently 88. Yeah, no. You'll get 88 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold right now. So it seems like if you use the gold to silver ratio, the ratios look good. This is not financial advice. I'm just stating facts. The ratios look good according to what financial experts say that's a good time to trade. Anytime over 80 is a good time. It's at 88 right now. That'll get you close to 250 ounces of silver. And if silver goes up to 100, you'll actually make more than if gold goes up to 3,000. So even if silver only goes up to 40, you'll still do better because you'll have added over 25%. For gold that put 25% on it, it'd have to be over 3,000. So I think personally, my personal opinion is it's a good thing to do. But that's just a personal opinion. It's not advice whatsoever. That's seems I don't know much about gold. I never have. I've always said I'm not much of a gold guy. So I don't know if that's a good deal or not. It sounds like it could be, Joseph. But I really couldn't tell you. I'm not that big on gold. I know gold's everywhere, especially with the new technology they have for capturing what's called the angel's gold, or the real fine particulates that have never before in history been able to be catched by a sluice. They now have a sluice refinement screening system that catches the smallest of smallest, or what's called angel's gold, and it's everywhere. If gold goes up to 20,000, bro, I'll tell you what, I'll be out there panning on the weekends. I'm not in Missouri. I'm in California, Ben. Hey, Chad. Wolfenslegensteinenhausenbergerdorf. Wolfslegensteinerhausenbergerdorf. I just like saying that name. Sorry. So, what's new? Any subjects to talk about? I'm drawing a blank. Actually, I'm not. There's just a lot of things I can't talk about. But one thing I can talk about is I will have 4 or 5 nose rings, crystallized osmium 2mm square nose rings for sale on Long Lived Coin Show in 2 to 3 weeks, hopefully. You want to talk about the UK? Okay. England's fucked. Scotland has a chance. It's over with. I'm not really big into music. I don't know if I would have any one album of all time. I've enjoyed. It depends on my mood. Sometimes I like Bach. Sometimes I like Led Zeppelin. Sometimes I like Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. Sometimes I like the Sinead O'Connor. It just depends on what mood I'm in. Yeah. What about them? We can talk about it, but ain't going to change nothing. Those plans, both in Ireland and in Israel, are already set. I personally don't think that it's the right time for Israel to go to war with Iran. I don't think Iran's going to take that step. They're not prepared for it. The world's not prepared for it. It's too many other things that have to happen. As far as Ireland, if you don't know about Ireland, Matthew, there's a lot of civil unrest right there because of the immigration situation, and immigrants keep killing Irish people and getting away with it. So I can see where they're a little bit upset. But they asked for it when they voted for the damn government that started allowing these people in. And if you know, I have not done reports on it because I don't want to be part of it. But there's like 3 or 4 European countries. I think Sweden, Hungary never let any migrants in. They locked their border. They said no migrants whatsoever. So they're pretty safe. Sweden, Switzerland, Norway, Ireland, and 1 or 2 other countries are kicking all their migrants out. So it's a reverse policy now from the New World's Order way of doing things. Of whatever it was they were planning, it's reversing on them. So that's how I know it's not a time for Israel and Iran to go to war. That, and of course, there's, depending on your religious beliefs, and it's totally only on that. My particular religious beliefs say in the Bible, there's certain things got to happen before that war occurs, and those certain things haven't happened yet. So I'm not concerned about it. It's just actually what it is. If you talk about it like it is the end, you're wasting your time, and you should be more prosperous with your time, looking to gain wealth to possibly change or forego that future for even longer, because there's more good people than bad people. Because for that end to come, most of the world's got to be bad. That means most of the good people had to do nothing. So let's try and change that. What's up, Jeff? Yeah, there's quite a few Led Zeppelin songs I like. Quite a few. I actually have no favorite. There's probably about 7 Led Zeppelin songs that I like the heck out of. Oh, speaking, Jeff, if you drop bacon in the Middle East, that's actually better than dropping bombs. What's coming to America that's not already come through the Canadian border or the Mexican border or taken over Michigan? uh, yeah, yeah. Nah, Americans have too many guns for anything like that to happen, and whoever's in place it's going to be messy, but I don't know. Future's untold. All I know is be kind, helpful, and grateful. Be an American. Uh, the administration is only that. It's just an administration. It is not America. Americans, the people, are America. The administration's just some boofunks who paid to be up there, somehow did election manipulation, which we all know is possible because manipulation's everywhere, to get their positions. No, Matthew. By God, absolutely not. I know. Here, hold on a second. That's who you should vote for, Matthew. You know, Kamala's great if you take her out to dinner and she drops her fork and stays under the table for about 10 minutes. Other than that, she's pretty useless because that's how she got her position. Trust me, I was living here when she got it. And there was a lot of debauchery going on in the Willie Brown mayor's golden towered freaking golden topped city hall that he had such lavish amounts of money to spend of the people's money. He topped city hall with gold instead of paying off debts. I'm glad he's suing CNN. He needs to. All those people, they all need to be sued for malinformation, misinformation, uninformed information, RICO Act, conspiracy. There's lots of things they could be sued for. It all depends on the judges that you have. Some judges interpret the law with their personal feelings and not as to precedents and actual litigation that's gone before them set in law. And that is actually what's caused a lot of our problems that we have right now. Is we have a bunch of corrupt freaking judges appointed by less than American presidents in the past to intentionally screw things up, and it's worked. So that's where we need to band together as people, be kind, helpful, grateful, take back our country, go local politicians, go for local, run for school board, run for mayor, run for city council on a local level, because Washington is run by national people, but those national people have to listen to the people in their constituency. So if we don't control the constituency at the local level, we ain't got a chance in hell of changing Washington, no matter who's at the top. It's got to change. It's a candle that's got to be burnt from both ends if you want to drain the swamp. One man at the top can't do it all. All of us have to step up and do it from the bottom and the top down, bottom up, and burn them bastards out. Well, vote for me. That way you can honestly say when you have conversations with people and they break out their rule book that says if you didn't vote for the guy I voted for, this is how I treat you because you voted for the other guy. You can say, no, I didn't vote for the other guy. You're just being a dick and don't know anything. I voted for Neil Hahn. Do you know who he is? Then shut up and don't put me in your liberal box or your conservative box or your playbook box. And they'll throw the conversation in a new direction. What's up, Tom? The best thing you can do is vote for yourself and your family and your community and find the best way to make your vote count. And if you think voting for an individual in Washington is going to do that, good for you. The best thing to do is put your name on the ballot and get a local election position and then start making change. Nope, you're not allowed to get votes if you're locked up. It's part of the deal. Oh, yeah, most definitely. That's why I keep telling people, Finn, after you've stacked your pantry and you feel that your family's set, Get extra food. Go buy 2 cases at fucking Costco of the Starkist tunas. That's 48 cans. Might not sound like much, but to a hungry family, if you give them 4 or 5 cans, say, here, sorry, I ain't got nothing else. At least they're feeding them, and they're not going to starve to death like they did in the 1929 Depression. And that we can stop by being kind, helpful, grateful now. Tom, I will be running because I'm sure I'm not going to get the 2024 one. Oh, no, they did, Matthew. If you're in jail, you automatically voted for whoever the Democrats wanted because they controlled your vote. You probably voted 4 or 5 times, actually. I wouldn't be surprised, especially out here in California. During the debacle of the COVID thing, death row inmates started receiving unemployment benefits, full unemployment benefits. It's amazing how stuff works when they want to screw the system up. That's right, Jeff. Well, you can look into it, Matthew. I don't know how you would check your voting record. I don't know even what agency you'd go to check that, but I'm sure there is one. And rice and beans is not bad, especially if you have sausage and red beans. You can make one hell of a good red beans and rice, and that's not a bad meal, let me tell you. It's cheap, easy, and delicious. Another thing you need to think about on prepping when it comes to food, don't forget the spices. That might be good barter at one level of society, who, the upper echelon of society. If they can't get their spices, they might trade, extra stuff just to get a hold of their spices and herbs. A jambalaya, you got that right, Tom. That's how the Cajuns do it, bro. They live poor, but man, are they well fed. And it's poor, well fed. You got you got your jambalayas, you got your shrimp etouffees, you got your red beans and rice, you got your crawfish. You got all kinds of cheap food that goes for a long time. Jeff, prisoners automatically change sexes if they're chosen to be a female, even if they don't get the sex change. That's the bad part about being in jail and being sold to the other side. You get to be the woman whether you want to or not. There you go, Jeff. Rice, cilantro, pork and beans, chili. Yep. A Creola. Yep. See, you got to look at the Cajun delicatessen and their cuisine, because they are a very poor group of individuals in America. White, but some of the poorest in America. And they eat so damn good. Crawfish, brah. Yeah, there you go, crawfish po' boys. Crawfish is easy to do. You can grow crawfish in a rice paddy. You can get yourself an acre, turn it into a rice paddy, and double use it by growing crawfish, and you harvest crawfish and rice. Well, there's half a meal right there. All you need is beans, and just a little bit of preparation. You can do a lot of shit. And people don't like mullet, but I tell you what, there ain't nothing better than fried mullet if you got a good batter, and it's cheap and easy. Bug-eyed mullets, just go out there with a net, catch it with a net. At least that's what we used to do. Because I'm not into prepping as per se, I can survive, but I don't really prep. I don't consider it prepping because my life scenario, I'm not. I don't have my own place basically to do all that shit. So I look at things differently. And that's why I also say if a shit hits fan scenario, I got a shotgun and 13 shells. If I can't upgrade, I'm not good enough to be around. So I have a different perspective on things and how to get things. And if it goes that far, people will not want to be around this area and be doing bad things because their shit will be mine. Well, if you can keep it frozen, crayfish is good. Yeah, New York is like Sodom and Gomorrah, bro. I've had several opportunities to go there and turn them down every time. I will never go to New York City. Well, how you prepare is first off, you learn how to live. And when I say that, I don't mean, turn on the TV and live the way other people live. You find out what it takes. Use your imagination. Don't turn the power on one day when you wake up from bed and figure out, okay, if this happened for real, what would I need? What would I do? That's how you prepare. Because not only are you going through your head what you're going to do, you're going to find out you don't know what to do. So then you're going to find out. So you're going to do research. And in that research, you're going to find out what you need to do. You can listen to other people, but all that's going to do is give you someone to blame when they didn't tell you the right information. Because it's what's right for them might not be right for you. The way I do it, I don't have any medications, so I don't consider that. My diet keeps me healthy, so I consider that. A lot of people are already on medications. So if you listen to my advice, I would totally leave out medications because I don't think about it. So why would you want to listen to my advice? You want to learn your own because as you learn your own, you become more valuable as a prepper. And if shit does hit the fan, you'll be more prepared and more valuable in your community, which puts you at a higher standard because you did your own research and found out instead of listening to someone else. I can tell you, hey, collect this. But once you collect it, how do you know what to do with it or what different things you can do with it? You don't know unless you research for yourself. Knowledge is power, baby. Gather knowledge. A good skill is worth 1,000 ounces of silver and shit hits the fan. Because I guarantee you, silver, you go to barter that when someone's trying to kill you, they'll just kill you and take your silver. But if you know how to do something that they don't know how to do and you have a skill, you become valuable no matter what silver you do or do not have. You got to think through scenarios. That's all I say. I would say, think through things. What's the next step? If I do this, what's the possibilities that'll happen from me doing that? And then what's the possibilities of that? And keep going down the list and just keep going through those scenarios, and you'll have a better picture of how, no matter how much you prepare, you're not going to be prepared unless you get a community. Because any solo prepper out there, 3 months and they're goners. And you don't want to bug out. That's the worst thing 90% of the nation would do, because you're leaving all your medication, you're leaving all your bandages, you're leaving all of your food supply, you're leaving your community, you're leaving the area. One thing about survival is you want to get to know the train. Well, check this out. Where you live, you know the train. So why are you going somewhere where you don't know the train and have to learn it all over again? Why don't you just stay where you know the train and you know most of the people and you can organize in a community? Because, if you're out on your own and you fall asleep, your security level went to, well, you don't have any security, you're asleep. So you probably ain't going to last that long because someone's going to want what you have while you're asleep. So if you have a community of 10, 20 people around you, you can sleep decently. And if something happens, they'll sound their alarm and you can get up and do whatever. But at least you can go to sleep and have an alarm wake you up if something happens. You can't do that if you're solo prepper or survivalist, dude. I mean, hell, when I was in the military, we were never solo. We had such technical support and backup. It was freaking pathetic. We might have been out in the field with only 5 of us, but we had about 100 motherfuckers behind us. They might have been 10,000 miles away, 5,000 miles away, 3,000 miles away. Doesn't matter. They had the technology to be flying right over our heads or in the satellite and feeding us direct intel. So even as a special operations operator, we were never alone by any means. There might have only been a couple guys with us, but there were several hundred of them on the radio feeding us information so that we could succeed. We were never alone. That idea of doing it yourself is the biggest bullshit idea in the freaking world. You need a community. The bigger your community, the better your chances. Well, okay, Tom, prepping does kind of sort of become a lifestyle, or it's just life. Life you have to prepare for. Different scenarios in life. 3 Mile Island happened. Those people needed to be preppers at that point in time, not because of some crazy other shit, but because a nuclear power plant was fixing to blow up. So just life happens. Here in California, the fires burning everything down. You got to be a prepper. You don't have to wait for shit hits the fan. you know, Not by no means. Shit's always hitting the fan. It's just whether if it's hitting your fan in your neighborhood or not. Hell, right across the bay, within vision of my front door as I look out, a whole freaking neighborhood of Pinole blew up from a gas pipeline explosion about 12 years ago. Took out like 26 houses. Man, that was like a freaking huge ass bomb dropped from the fucking sky, but it came from underground from a gas pipeline that blew up. Tore up 26 houses in one neighborhood. I mean, prep, prep. We were out of gas for a while. It was a major pipeline, and here we are, big city. So the best place to actually prep is right now and where you're at, because the lights go out. Well, what do you have? Well, if the lights go out, I found when we had rolling blackouts out here, or brownouts as they called them a couple of years ago, I ordered some solar light bulbs that have their own little panels that I can plug in the daytime and set out in the sun, and it'll in one day 8-hour day of solar power for this little panel that plugs in this light bulb. It'll allow me to turn that light bulb on and walk around with it, and it'd be like a regular light bulb for about 6 hours. I got 12 of them. So if the power goes out, not going out around here. Now, will that help with my refrigerator or anything? No, but that is one thing I did do. Another thing I did is I bought a generator that has an inverter, a built-in inverter. Because if I'm going to have a generator, I have solar panels. If I'm going to be in a blackout scenario, my solar panels will still work. I just need to wire them to an inverter. I don't have to buy a whole inverter and a whole battery pack like Elon Musk pack for $27,000. All I need to do is buy a little $700 generator that has an inverter in it. So when the power turns out, I just unhook the wires from my solar panels that are going into the Gulf Power's power feed, and I plug them into my generator because it's got a built-in inverter. And then I turn my generator on, and as long as my generator's on, I quadrupled my electrical output of that generator during the daylight hours because of my solar panels. And I can keep everything in this house running during the daylight hours. Everything. Oh, I could be running. I could have the hot tub on, the TV, the washing machine, the refrigerator, freezer upstairs and downstairs because I'd have enough power. All because I have a generator with a built-in inverter to where if the power goes out, generators, my solar panels are still going to work. It's just they're not going to be feeding. They're going to be feeding power to someone who's not feeding it back to me. So I'm going to cut that line, take the power that I'm generating from my solar panels, feed it into my generator because it hasn't built an inverter. I have power. I might not even need to I haven't tried it. I might not even need to start the generator to take and plug in power because I'll be running straight power with it. As a matter of fact, the more I think about it, I won't have to turn on the generator. I can all day run my shit all day long off the solar panel and then run it for like 3 hours at nights, which means I can use 1 gallon of gas for 3 nights, which means 5-gallon tank will last me 15 nights, and I'll have power for 12 hours a day on 5 gallons of gas for 5 times 3, 15 days. And that's power 24/7 running every utility I have. And I'm prepared now for that. It cost $700 and I had solar panels. I just got the right inverter, a right generator. Yeah, no one will ever be prepared, bro, because to be prepared, you have to know what's coming. Do you know what's coming? Is it going to be a mega earthquake? Is it going to be a tidal wave? Is it going to be a volcano? Is it going to be an EMP pulse? Is it going to be nuclear war? Is it going to be an invasion, land invasion from all these other guys? Which one are you prepared for? See what I'm saying? There's like I just threw out 7 or 8 catastrophic shit hits the fan scenarios that could happen. Which one are you prepared for? Here's another. Here's one, an ongoing one from a mega volcano. Are you prepared to grow vegetables when we have a 1 year of the dark, no sun, till all the ash falls to the ground? Anyone prepared for that here? I don't think anyone is. Striker is. Oh wow, where is Striker? Uh, hold on, wait. Oh, he's sleeping on my towels. Striker is asleep on my towels behind me to my right, along with Harley looking out the window. It looks like Harley's looking at birds or another cat. Oh, nope, that's Gandalf, not Harley. My bad. Well, see, the problem with those LED lights, and this is a thing. See, this is a general information, improper information given to the public. If you are going to grow indoors, you need to produce more power than you use right now to grow indoors successfully. So if you're going to grow indoors, where are you getting the power from? That's one of the worst things to do is grow indoors. Now, if it like a volcanic scenario, blacked out winter, all this other stuff, yes, I do have a grow light. Yes, I for as long as the power is running, I could keep it running, but what the power would go out eventually, and then I wouldn't be able to run it. So it really wouldn't be useful. Sweet, Chad. That's a nice deal. Now, the best thing you can do in all reality, uh, people that'll survive like a nuclear winter or something like that, if they live, if they're not by the explosion, the Amish, because they live without electricity now. So they know how to store shit for a year and it still be good. And that's who you should learn from. They're big on canning. So I would say, look at canning. They're also big on growing their own crops. So I'd say, grow your own crops. They're big on learning skills that can help them survive without electricity. What I mean by that is, if you've ever seen a barn raising in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, they got a community of neighbors and people that work together with hand tools, and like within 24 hours of work or their 2 of their days, they can get a barn raised that would take fucking a crew of 8 iron workers a week to do. They can do in 2 days, and we'd need a crane, and they don't have one because they know about pulleys, they know about levers, they know how to tie knots. Here's a great skill: knot tying. People don't, that's such an underestimated skill, knowing what knot to tie for what scenarios and which is the best knot. People don't even know how to tie knots, much less how to tie a proper knot for the right scenario. If you know how knot tying, that's a skill that's great for freaking SHTF. Yeah, learn how to do a bowline, a lazy Susan. There's a couple simple knots. They could save your life. No one knows how to tie knots. It's amazing. But that's a good skill to learn, knot tying. And quite frankly, believe it or not, if power is going to go out, I would say basket weaving might be a good skill. That or knitting. Knitting would be a good skill at that point in time because it requires no power. You just need the tools to knit and the material. and you can make clothing. That's a valuable skill, you know. Or like me, I've got a foot pedal driven like 1890s to 1920s foot powered sewing machines. I've got two of them. You know, that's, I can use those with, they don't have no plug-in. They don't plug into nothing. Your foot is the power. That's a good thing to have. So if you know how to sew, even if there's no power, I could still sew. You know, you can make a living sewing without power. You know, one thing's going to happen when all the power goes out, people's clothes are still going to get ripped and they're going to need sewn. So you have a skill, a useful skill. More importantly, go out and find one of those sewing machines, those foot pedal sewing machines, and buy it and keep it around, get it into working condition, and just keep it around like an antique piece that works. So when the power goes out, you'll have yourself at least a sewing machine. So when the neighbors' kids get tore up clothes and they outgrow them, you can sew them up a new pair and they'll give you some food for it. Or some scenario like that. I mean, there's lots of skills you can learn right now that won't even affect your life that much, but could be life-saving if a shit, depending on what kind of shit hits the fan scenario comes about. It's all dependent on the scenario of the STH or whatever it is. STGF or whatever. Yeah, there you go. Also learn knitting. Knitting is a very valuable skill when there's no power. Because I tell you what, first winter, no power, all those people that bugged out, they'll wish like hell they had a wool fucking sweater. And you know what? Scottish people are good at knitting wool sweaters. Why? Because in Scotland, it's freaking cold and windy, and wool sweaters really do keep you warm. So if you have wool and you have two little fucking needles, you can knit, after you get good at it, you can knit a wool sweater, and you can do 2 a week. You know, in an STHF scenario, that's very valuable. You know, so it depends. There's so many things you can do. And just, you know, there's so many scenarios, so many different ways. I laugh at everybody who says, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Think it through. What's that first step? Oh, I'm going to do this. Okay, well, after that, what are you going to do? Well, what happens when you run out of this and you did that? Okay, so you bugged out, now you ran out of all your first aid shit. Now, guess what? You're going to have to use your barter to get first aid shit, to where if you hadn't bugged out, you'd have your medicine cabinet there. But you're not going to take your whole medicine cabinet with you if you bug out, because it's too much weight. So bugging out is actually the worst freaking thing you could ever do. You're leaving all of your resources. Why would one want to do that? That's this foolishness. You're leaving all your security. You can actually lock the doors. Not in a bug out scenario, where are you going to lock the doors? You just bugged out. There's no walls, no ceiling. So how could there be a door to lock? People say, well, in the cities, the bad guys are going to use their guns and take over. Well, that's quite possible. But you want to know one thing I know about bad guys? Pretty much none of them are freaking trained by the military like I have been, and I'm here. So if they try that shit in my neighborhood, hey, you know, this is my ground. I've been here for 22 years. I know this area. I know what yard to run through to come out where on the other side of the street. And I got a 100-yard shotgun. Those little 45s, 9mm these boys have, they're not good, but for maybe 50 yards at best. So I can cut around, move around, take them down, take their shit. Now I've got 9mm, 45s, whatever they have, plus my shotgun. And now there's a reputation in this area. Don't go there. That guy's crazy and he'll kill you. So now I've got good defense, all because I stayed at the house. So that's my bug out plan. Stay right fucking here. You know, right beside, less than 75 foot from where I'm sitting right now, there's a about 40 foot tall avocado tree that this year is going to put out 1,000 to 2,000 avocados. Why would I want to leave that? That's food. I've also got a grapefruit tree within 35 foot of me. I've got 2 orange trees, a lemon tree, 2 fig trees. Why would I want to leave all of that food that reproduces yearly? All I got to do is sustain myself in between the crops that are naturally there. Why would I want to leave all of that? I mean, orange, lemons, grapefruit, apricot, and figs. That's a lot of your vitamins and minerals right there. Now all you need to do is get some, one meal a day, and you're healthy and you're going to live. Times will get better. When times are bad, the best you can hope for is be healthy and live. When I first moved into this house 8 years ago, there was slugs, but I've taken care of them since then, and there are no slugs now. But in the neighbor's yard, there are. And yes, escargot is a food. Oh, and there's also an almond tree in the neighbor's front yard for almonds. So yeah, what you guys should think of is if you own your own houses, spend 400 or 500 bucks and get a 16-foot tall fruit tree or two of them. That'll be worth gold in a shit hits fan scenario, because you'll be creating food that you can barter your food for things that you need after you keep enough of the food for yourself. Oh, shotgun slugs? No, I only have 13 shotgun slugs. Again, I have a different theory, because if I have unlimited, like if I have like 100, 200 shotgun shells or slugs, I'm not going to be as vigilant and as careful and precise in my actions and my thoughts, to where if I know I'm limited, I go into a more urgent mindset, and that's one that I'm trained for. So I know if I go in that mindset and I start off in a shit it's fan scenario in that mindset, I can almost guarantee you I will come, if I leave the house, when I come back, I'll have more with me than what I left with, because I'll be in that mindset. And that's why I don't have a lot of shells or slugs. There's another thing people don't think of is a lot of people think it's cool shooting people and shit like that. And there are a bunch of psychotic sons of bitches out there that probably actually think it's cool. But if you're not one of them psychotic son of a bitches, you got to be strong mentally to be able to take a life. And you better be damn good and sure that you can sleep at night for the reason that you took that life. You better be able to sleep having used that reason to take that life. Let me say it that way. So pray that it never happens in America. No, I did not. I'm not. Well, I totally boycotted the Olympics several years ago, and this year just confirmed that. I don't even care. I haven't even watched 1 second of them. I to my misfortune, I was watching this other show that showed a picture of the Olympics. So I did see a picture of the opening thing, and I was disgusted big time. But I didn't intentionally watch that, and it was only one picture of it. But I tried getting through the whole Olympics without even seeing one image of it. But I failed on that one. Although, if I was Greek right now, I would start on a small scale, being a poor Greek. If I was a poor Greek guy, I would get together with a whole bunch of other people and start the original Olympics all over again, the Greek original Olympics from several thousand years ago, because that would probably garner a lot of TV attention and bring in some money. Because with the disgustingness of the internationally run Olympics, it would be wholesome to see a traditional Greek Olympics all over again. But no one's even considered that. But that would be a money-making opportunity for someone in Greece. And oddly enough, since they're in Greece, you actually even have the exact spots to do the Olympics there that they did 2,000 years ago. So you'd have some historical reference to build some viewers off of. But people aren't taught how to think; they're taught what to think. So no one's thinking about that shit. That's the benefit of being either asked to leave every school I was in or moving every year, because my dad was in the Navy. I never stayed in one school system in one country to be indoctrinated in any way, shape, or form in any type of doctrination. Because I don't think I didn't complete one school in my lifetime for more than 2 years before I was gone to another school or another country. The longest I was ever in the school was 2 years. And that's including high school, 9th and 10th grade in Pensacola High School. And I actually quit 10th grade and then joined the Army. It's all right. I wish I had a couple thousand pieces. It'd be real nice to have several thousand pieces of the crystallized osmium. But there is a project coming out, a crypto project. And I'm hoping I can position myself. Well, I've already got a position in it, but I'm hoping that other things in my life get me in position enough to where I can use whatever I make off of that crypto, that osmium, crystallized osmium crypto that's coming up, that this gentleman here has more knowledge of than me. I hope to use all of that to actually just acquire crystallized osmium, because I really do want to get into making jewelry, but I can't do that out here because I'm going to be moving all this stuff from out here back to Alabama. So I'm going to wait till I get to Alabama before I get all the shit I need to do that. And hello, Gerald. But yeah, I want to get into jewelry making, so I'd love to have a couple thousand pieces of crystallized osmium in my possession. So you asked me how my osmium portfolio looking. It's not looking good. It can always look better, and I'll never be content. So it'll never be good enough. I'm hoping sometime, right now the property I'm looking at is 200,000. When it hits 150,000, I'm going to seriously look at going, and I'm hoping to be able to get it for about 125 because I got a VA loan, and if I can get it for, if I can get it for 125, my early retirement from the union will cover the mortgage and give me a little bit to cover the utilities, to where I won't have to do much to cover everything else plus thrive. And it'll be 6 miles away from my crystal lightning idea. So I'll be real close and be able to work that. And that'll actually be that jewelry making is what I'll be doing. And then once I get some money from that, which won't be long, I'm going to buy a couple 100 acres in central eastern Alabama and open up a Renaissance fair. And then I'll have 2 big old pieces of property, and hopefully they'll both be paid off, and I'll just buy more property, and I'll try and become a land baron in Alabama. And I have a lot of land holdings in different towns until I decide which one I want to stay in. And then I'll try to buy all the houses that I can in that town, to where I basically won't be ignored and stepped on. And when I say something political, people will listen and possibly do. So that way I can have more say in having a more moral town that I live in. And I figure the best way to do that is own a good portion of the town. So that's my goal, along with owning an island in case that doesn't work out. Or if it does work out, I can move on my island because there was no reason to be in the town if it's well managed and well run. I already got my grapefruit tree, and it's putting out grapefruits the size of softballs. And probably going to get 100, 200, 300 free avocados this year. And the lemons in my other neighbor's yard, I have permission to take as many as I want, and that thing blooms about 8 months out of the year. And for 4 months it doesn't. But for 8 months out of the year, I'll go grab a lemon fresh out of his tree, and put some fresh lemon drops in my tea every time I drink tea, along with cinnamon. Now, what I wish I had is an apple tree, a couple apple trees. But when I buy some my Renaissance fair land in central eastern Alabama, obviously I have enough money. I'll probably start a small orchard of like 5 or 6 different types of apple, probably 5 trees of each type of apple, to where I have like 30 apple trees. And then, oh yeah, the Scopanon and the Muscadine grape. It's a southern natural growing grape. Tastes better, in my opinion, than the French wines. And I might even start growing my own vineyard and doing my own wine, not for sale, but for my own personal stockpile. And I'll tell you what, I don't know if you guys ever heard of any, but the Scopanone and Muscadine wine, you'll find it in the southeast in America. It'll be kind of hard because the France, the country of France, their whole wine industry, just here in California, spends $15 million to control the California wine industry, and in Alabama alone, they spend between $7 and $8 million to lobby local leaders, political leaders, to make it hard as hell for anyone to produce a Scopanone or Muscadine wine in America and release it out in retail, because they don't want competition of French wines here in America. And the Scopanone and Muscadine grape are the natural American grape. So I find it kind of anti-patriotic and anti-American that the French are doing that and American politicians are falling for it. But I'll start my own little winery, but it won't be for shit for sale. But I'll tell you what, everyone who drinks that wine will want a bottle of it, because it's some good ass wine. Yeah, that's I plan on that, because, and also, believe it or not, this is a great thing if you think things through. If I have a Ren fair, right? When you find out about Ren fairs, you got to have insurance. When you find out about festival insurances, you'll discover this thing called the Historical Recreational Society Group. And what they are is they insure like Civil War reenactments and stuff like that, historical reenactments, right? So if you do a Ren fair, to qualify to get that festival insurance, cheapest and best insurance out there for festivals, you have to have 3 acts that are historically time period. So if you have a farm, and this is a way to get around federal regulatory laws on food growing, because you can say it's a historical recreational act for your business, and you have to have it, and it's recognized by your insurance company. So therefore, it's a legal write-off as a business expense running your fair. And if the government makes you get rid of it, they actually ruin your business and have to pay you for it. So if I like get a farmhouse and put an orchard in, make everything as time period for the 13th century look, 12th century, 15th century, whatever, and I do like 30-acre orchard and some other stuff like that, cows, pigs, chickens. I can do a historical recreation of a farm and have that as part of my insurance coverage for a historical recreational act. The act being the farm itself is the act of what a farm looked like in that time period. And you can get around the federal laws that they're trying to shut down all these private farms and farming groups and stuff like that. Your Ren fair and the people on the Ren fair would be exempt from all those laws, because you're running a business, and the insurance company indicates that is part of as an exact replica of the time period you're looking to recreate to get your insurance, and it totally fucks the government's lawsuits against you to shut you down. But if you can only learn this shit if you do research. That's another reason why I want to do a Ren fair, because there's so many things I can do that other Americans will not be allowed to do. Like grow food, have cows, pigs, chickens, orchards, grapevines. And I can use the precedents, oddly enough, of France. In France, there is a castle that they actually, the French government is paying these people to, it's a 25-year project because they are building this castle the same way, using the same tools and same equipment that they used in 14th century France. And they projected it would take 20 to 25 years to build this castle. And it's small. And there's like 50 people that have spent their whole working career working for the government of France to create a castle using time period, 14th century time period tools. So first they had to learn the skill to do it. Then they get paid to live that lifestyle by the French government for 20 to 25 years to build that castle. That's the legitimacy of my argument in court. And it's a very sound argument in the legal argument in court. But anyhow, enough about the rant about that. Also, if they ever come up with the quote unquote mark of the beast in your hand, what you do is you start a company, and the company, let's say I'll use myself as an example. Neil Hahn is going to start the company of Neil Hahn. Neil Hahn's body is the company, and Neil Hahn is going to lease his body to his company. So the company is totally responsible for the care of the human Neil Hahn, not Neil Hahn. So therefore, the company has to buy all Neil Hahn's stuff. So if Neil Hahn doesn't buy any stuff and the company Neil Hahn does, the company Neil Hahn doesn't have a hand, so therefore it needs a credit card, doesn't need a mark. Not every rich person is going to have a mark of the beast on their hand, people. Only the dumb ones. And that was a very stupid example, but the most literal example of how you can get around getting a mark on your hand. Only worker bees will have the mark. Owner bees won't. Hey, Roaming Prepper, what's up, my man? I appreciate every time you hop in here, brother. Thank you for taking your time. Everyone needs to subscribe to Roaming Prepper. I'm always in his show when he's live and I'm around. And thank you for stopping by, my friend. Pete gives a lot of good information on traveling. A lot of stuff like now, and there's another example. We were talking about prepping. And I said it's scenario driven. And the best scenario is not to bug out because you're leaving all your assets and everything, security and everything. But in scenarios like what you have, where you travel for a living, you often find yourself more than not away from your house. So therefore, your perspective on things is 180 degrees different because the likelihood of you something happening and you not being at your house is higher than the average individual because your job and company require you to be away from your house. So, you know, that's why I like watching your show because you give perspective because I don't travel. You know, I don't think of those things, but I like the objectivity of having that perspective in a just in case I do travel, it happens. I'll know because I watched your show and you talked about it, even though in my life I don't travel and I don't need to know about it. So I do watch your show for that. And it's very enlightening. And I thank you for the show. And oh, by the way, Pete, check this out. This is my commercial for my Quick Life. Yeah, your grab bag for sure, Pete. Yeah, you definitely, man, you ought to see my car. God, every time I get a different car, it's like a quarter of the space is filled up. Hold on, I need a bigger jack. I need my toolkit. I need water. I got like 12 bottles of water in my car. I got a couple of cans of tuna. I got some stuff I could eat at work if I forget my lunch, kind of stuff I leave in the cars. Because of my work as an iron worker, I do actually travel a lot when I work, because I can travel up to 100 miles away from the house for a job site. But I haven't worked there that much in the past 4 years, so I haven't had to think about it. But I still have all that stuff in my car. Yeah, I mean, that's a decent commercial. It's a new, it's the eighth precious metal, eighth knowable metal, finally being able to be brought to a market in crystallized form. It's been for sale in Europe for the past 12 years, only been available here in America for about 2 years. So it's a new marketplace, good business opportunity, especially during bad economic times, because you can create jewelry with crystallized osmium. And everyone who's got a millionaire, they say they buy jewelry, fine wine, art, and precious metals as wealth preservation in hard economic times. So it's a perfect thing to get into during hard economic times, which obviously we're in hard economic times. So if you grab a piece of the eighth noble metal finally brought to market that can be used as jewelry, and it's got like twice the distance bling of a diamond, it just draws that much more light and reflects that much more light than a diamond does. You got yourself a winner. You're making money in hard economic times, because people who have money are looking to buy that product to preserve their wealth. So take their money, make a piece of jewelry with it. You can also 100%, 200%, 300% your investment in a 2 or 3 month time period. That's rather unheard of for investments, but due to the uniqueness of the time and that we are in history, in this economic cycle is supposed to be worst ones in 100 years, we're uniquely able to take advantage of making jewelry, because this product is here for the first time in history, made available to us, and for the first time in 100 years, every millionaire out there is buying jewelry, fine wine, artwork, and precious metals to preserve their wealth. So take some of their fucking money. You can use money, can't you? I'm getting some nose rings in 2 weeks. I'm gonna have 4 or 5 nose rings. It's $30 for the crystallized osmium. That's 150 in crystallized osmium, probably $400 or $500 in the jeweler to have it done. So each one, I'm gonna have less than $100 in each one. I'm selling them for $3. I'm going to triple my money within a month. I mean, you guys looking for side gigs? Come on. I'll do it. I'll do it, and I'll show you the cash and say, here, check this out. You want to make some money? This is how you do it. You ain't gonna have to go to no yard sales and none of that other stuff. Make money off precious metals. Sorry about that rant, guys. Yeah, for real, Pete. I'm very surprised that. But I did a report on Oxford Gold stealing millions of people's investments, IRA investments, because of they thought they were buying actual gold, and the company was a farce, man. I just did a report on that. It was a horrible scenario. Hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars were stolen. People thought they were buying precious metals. What's up, Silver Boy Blues? And they weren't buying precious metals. They were being ripped off by a precious metals supposed precious metals company called Oxford Gold. Look at my history videos in the past 2 weeks. I did a video on it. So definitely due diligence. And if, like Pete says, if you diversify, that the guys that lost all their money in the Oxford Gold, if they hadn't thrown all their money at it, they wouldn't have lost all their money. If they'd have diversified, they'd have only lost 20%. So had they, listened to Pete, Roaming Prepper, if they'd listened to him and diversified their portfolio, they'd have only lost 20% of what they lost and not 100%. So diversification is definitely key in investing, especially long term. One most important thing is possession's 9/10 of the law. What's up, ATM? So try and possess all of your assets and don't let other people hold them, because Oxford Gold was actually a vaulting company that supposedly vaulted gold purchased from IRA transfers. So the people involved never actually saw their IRA, never actually saw the money, never actually saw the gold. And supposedly it was put in Oxford Gold Vault. That's a lot of hope, wishes, and tears without seeing any real thing in my book. But apparently that's how wealthier people do things. And they lose their ass when they get taken because they don't do their own research. Ooh, I'm almost at a record. Got 9 people in here. I appreciate all you guys stopping by on a Sunday night. So what do you guys think is going to happen this week? Yeah, supposedly. And then that Volt told them, the people, we've never heard of that company. That's where you got to be vigilant. Yeah, vigilant in your assets and what you buy. What's up, Original Intent? You know, you don't just take people's word for it. You research it all the way down the line. Ask the next question. Well, what happens after this? And then check it out, because that means you're going to be calling people, you're going to be talking to people. That also, in so of doing that, you are validating or invalidating that move. Because had people done that with Oxford Gold, they'd have found out, had they called the investment vault where they're supposed to stick it, they'd have been like, no, we don't work with them. And you'd have been like, dude, these dudes are crap. I'm not going to invest in them. But people don't ask the question like, hey, am I going to make a right or left? Let me make a left. Well, what are you going to do after you make that left? No one asks that question. They just ask, hey, should I make a right or a left? Well, after I make a left, what do I do? Before you make the left, ask more questions, follow-up questions. Well, if I make a left and get a flat tire, what am I going to do? Or if I get in a wreck, what am I going to do? Just keep asking questions. More answers you get, less chance you're going to get screwed. Especially in bad times. Now's the time that all the scammers are coming out. I would like it if you bought stock from the stock market, if they actually sent you the stocks. And when you sold them, you'd actually have to send those stocks back in, because I hate this electronic crap. Man, a little impulse, a little hack or something, all of a sudden, what's the use of having a vault? What's the use of having a gun if someone can just sit on another end of the computer and take it from you from Hong Kong? Can't even chase them down and shoot at them and make yourself feel good. That's what I love about being American. God damn it, let me shoot at him, at least make me feel good. Yeah, I'll see you later, Roman Prepper. Thank you for stopping by, my friend. Yeah, I didn't bother. Oh, a future reference. In the next couple weeks, I probably will have Yara on, and we'll probably only do the live stream about gems, gemstones, and rocks and minerals, because I want to keep it to mostly a jewelry type of live stream, because Yara's passion before she got involved with Chris, she was a jewelry maker herself, and she's really into that kind of stuff. And ever since I've met them at Silverfest 2, when I was a Improv Prop 2 host for that show, I've never heard her talk about it again since then. So I've wanted to get her up here and have her talk, because that was her passion. And but now that they're hopping on board the crystallized osmium train, I might be able to get her on to do that. So we'll have Yara of Arcadia Economics on within the next month of Sundays. No, not month of Sundays. Next week of Sundays. Within the next 2 months, she'll be on. Yeah, like I said, I've been wanting. I was talking with Ian after I, Gerald, because I was talking with you and Ian called, and he's the one who told me that Chris and Yara are jumping on board. And I had mentioned to him that I've been trying to get Yara on for months, because I wanted to talk to her about jewelry and stuff. And he was like, yeah. all timing and stuff as usual. I'm about 6 months ahead of the crowd, so that's my problem. Having said that, though, see, now I'm at the latest, I'm 6 months ahead of the crowd. At the earliest, I'm a year ahead of the crowd. All the information that I'm giving and getting here on this show, keep in mind for like 6 to 9 months to 12 months down the road, that's when it's going to be more relevant. Because I do seem to, when I look at things, I have a clarity of vision into the most probable year in advance of scenarios that'll happen most likely, unless something freaky deaky happens, like a pandemic out of the blue or something like that. Yes, I will have Yara on, Chad. And we're going to be talking about gems, gemstones, rocks, minerals, jewelry. Oh, dude, I got so many videos saved because I've been trying to get her on for months. I got like 3 hours of videos just on the most precious gemstones, the most expensive, the most rare gemstones, the most dangerous gemstones. That right there is like 5 hours of video. In preparation for like a couple months ago, I was trying to get her on, and I quit trying because I figured it would. I was way too early. I know, I was way too early. That's why I don't have kids too. I'm way too early. Pull out way too early. Pull out of my brokerage account last November. This November is probably going to be the crash, so I pulled out a year early. Huh. One day I'll be able to see the shit that I see and time it better, so I can make profit off all this knowledge I have. This is hard to put together, man, because my mind hardly ever shuts down. Kind of like a Egon Wolf, except for his mind's not as bad as him. He seems to be worse than me. I can control a lot of my freaky deaky brain. I think weed has a lot to do with that, actually. If I was to ever stop smoking weed, I'd fucking hate to see the world. I'd probably take it over. Speaking of taking over the world, Gerald, I have found, as we were talking on some other live stream, I found this other site, and there's a lot of new areas to look that I didn't look, like Peru, islands around Peru, islands in Brazil, Costa Rica, Belize, Falkland Islands. A lot of islands in the Caribbean that are real nice islands for 20 million and less. Some of them 300-400 acre islands, 300 foot, 400 foot highest elevation islands. So they're not like hurricane come along and wash the house away with a big wave. Nice islands. Silver bubblers. I say this. And as these people come out, these popular people who are actually watched, remember, who said it first? China has been manipulating the price of platinum since around 2011. That is the only reason you can buy it for $900 and some odd right now. It should be $5,000+ right now. That ball is going to get released, and platinum is going to pop when that Chinese fucking manipulation stops. And that Chinese manipulation stops when the South African government has to make concessions with other parties to stay in power, and even they realize they have to make concessions with the business arm of the economic political scheme down there, which they already have done, and that's going to save a lot of their economic, foolish, greedy moves that they've made over the past 30 years that has allowed platinum to drop to the price that it's at, and also allowed only the mines in South Africa to lose $5 billion in profit in a 10-year time span. Who the hell loses money on a gold mine? South Africa does. And they do that when they sign on to the One Belt Road Initiative, and China fleeces the frill out of them, which they've been doing for the past 13 years, driving down the price of platinum because China needs to buy 2.5 million ounces of platinum this year, and they would rather buy it at $1,000 or less rather than $5,000 or more. And they saw that in the future, had a chance to take advantage of them, and they did. That will end. But that's what's happening with platinum. Sorry about the rant. It's not like it's making me millions of dollars knowing that, but when everyone else knows about it, I'll have the satisfaction of being the first one to talk about it on YouTube. Still won't make me any money. But a lot of mother frellers out there are buying platinum right now because I've told them about it, and they are going to be very prosperous because of it. And that makes me happy, because that means I'm helping others, even people I don't know. I'll be on Ninjas and people will be like, Neil, I bought an ounce of platinum. Never seen the name before. I'll still say, sweet, good job, because it is sweet and it is a good job. Because 2 years ago, they would not even, no one was talking about platinum. No one, not a single soul. The reason why, we're going to find out, but I can tell you right now, when people don't talk about it, it's because there's a big play to be made in it. And they're not talking about it because they don't want no one to know about it. And that's the only reason that precious metal wasn't talked about, especially with all the technologies coming around that are going to need platinum. It's amazing that no one else is talking about it, or it has taken 2.5 years to get other people to talk about it. But enough of my rant. Who's a smart guy? Collections on the travels abroad. Oh, you're talking about Pete? Yeah, Pete's a very smart guy if you're talking about Roman Prepper. It's actually pretty cool just for starting a YouTube show. I've actually got to know a lot of pretty cool fucking YouTubers that are popular that actually like me, and that's kind of cool. What's up, Independent Mini United, aka Mary? You know I was gonna do it, girl. Oh, Mary, way things are looking, probably Octoberish. I'll have some earrings to send to you, and I'll be on one of your live streams that I'm on the panel. I'll give you my information to get a hold of me, and I'll be able to send you those. It'll probably be around Octoberish. I have not forgotten. That's the crystallized osmium earrings. Quiet, Gandalf. Oh, that's the video I had. The video on the violin. What did I do with that son bitch? It was saved somewhere. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Let me see if I can figure this out here. History. 72. Nope. Can't do it that way. How the hell can I do this? Let me go to history through YouTube. Maybe it'll show it. I think it was today I watched it. Huh. Here it is. Okay, hold on. Let me set this up here. We go here. Go to present, share screen, share screen. That one there, that one there. Get that out of the way. Get this over here. Put this on full screen and go back over here. Hit that. There we go.
It sparkles and it glitters. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. This slogan is familiar, but it could soon be changed because what glitters here is osmium. Like gold, silver, or platinum, osmium is a precious metal and is increasingly used in jewelry making. Scarlett Klaus, the vice director of the German Osmium Institute.
That familiar name to you there, Gerald?
Crystalline osmium is gaining popularity in the jewelry market, particularly among younger and more forward-thinking individuals. It is seen as the innovative addition that the jewelry industry looked for in recent years but just didn't get. Now there's the rarest non-radioactive element in the world. That it's a beautiful precious metal that can't be counterfeited is being very, very well received.
In 2014, osmium was the last of the 8 precious metals to be introduced on the world market for trading. Since then, it has risen sharply in price. It was initially only available as an investment metal, but currently more and more jewelers are adding osmium jewelry to their collections.
There are 2 clear instances where osmium can perform very well. In diamond jewelry, there is something called a pavé. A pavé is composed of many fractions of a carat, many small diamonds, and it is a very expensive surface that sparkles as a whole. But the value is not in the material, but in the work required to complete the setting of all these little pieces. When you take the materials themselves out, they are worth almost nothing. With crystalline osmium, you can create a very similar surface that sparkles as much or even more than diamonds. But in this case, the value is intrinsic. It's the high value of the precious material itself, which is undeniably appealing. Especially nowadays when people say, okay, I'd like to combine my jewelry with a tangible asset, the idea resonates strongly.
See, we have Gerald Draper actually was on a phone call with Scarlett. What was it, yesterday?
Designers and goldsmiths also value osmium for its ability to produce nearly flawless surfaces, providing them with complete creative freedom in shaping their designs.
And this is something which you can't do with a pavé. For instance, consider a sharply pointed logo that narrows towards the end.
Sweet.
With traditional stones, there will always be one stone or diamond at the tip, preventing the creation of precise, acute angles. In contrast, we can achieve this level of precision with osmium cutting, enabling us to craft the finest logos, shapes, and the corresponding surfaces that stones can't replicate.
The new headquarters of the Osmium Institute is being built in the Bavarian town of Murnau am Staffelsee, about 70 kilometers south of Munich. Ingo Wolf is the scientific director of now 40 branches of the Osmium Institute on 5 different continents. He is in charge of laboratory analysis and supervises the Osmium World Database. Every single osmium product is registered on this platform.
And this database must always be perfect. And that is what the Osmium Institute stands for. If osmium were to be lost for...
By the way, that building, let's go back. That building right there is the building Long Live Coins had Ian on his show when Ian came back from Germany, and Ian actually worked on that building to finish it up. As you can see, it's not finished there.
And that is what the Osmium Institute stands for. If osmium were to be lost, for example, or stolen, or reappear on the market, or if a certificate was issued incorrectly, then we, the Institute, would be at fault and would have to pay for it with our assets. That's why we work very meticulously.
The extraction of osmium requires extremely precise work and begins in platinum mines located in regions such as Australia, South Africa, or the Urals. Initially, any non-platinum impurities, osmium being one of them, are dissolved from the ore. Crude osmium is then transported to Switzerland in the form of a gray powder. A meticulous process of crystallization is then carried out, a notably hazardous process.
Osmium crystallization was developed over 40 years ago, and only one company has managed it. The process is dangerous in a laboratory setting due to the toxicity of the substances contained within the closed circuit. It involves high pressures and temperatures that must be meticulously controlled. This means that within the laboratory environment, there's not only a need to protect against theft of precious metals, but also to manage a highly hazardous procedure.
Once osmium is readily available in its standardized crystalline form, the refined metal is shipped to Germany. There it is cut by wire erosion into bars and inlays, and then scanned and certified by Wolf and his team in Murnau. Investors in kind now have the opportunity to purchase the finished crystalline osmium.
What they were talking about is the security feature, and all that computer stuff is the tracking of every individual piece. That's why when you buy it, they ask you for an email, because they'll send you all the information. Because there's two things you have to do to actually totally own it. You have to take physical possession, and then you do a paperwork transfer that stays on that computer system in Germany, stating that you are the owner. So if at any point in time someone steals it, tries to sell it, and someone tries to authenticate it, it comes back as owned by you, and you get it back. That's the unique security feature that only crystallized osmium offers in its form, and in jewelry form. It kind of sort of adds to the protection of the piece of jewelry.
There are some standard shapes, such as discs and bars at no extra charge. Then cut shapes, such as small diamonds and stars.
The price is therefore determined by quantity and size. In both the jewelry and investment markets, it begins with modest investments, sometimes as low as 100 euros.
Now that right there,
The price of a
left,
traditional engagement
go
ring
back
adorned with crystalline osmium, for example,
not far enough back. Or did I go too far forward? The one on the left is like a sparkle 1. The one on the right is like a sparkle 5. So you see a difference. What it is the thickness is the height. The sparkle level is determined by the height of these crystals. On the lower right one, you can see the crystals are a lot larger. So therefore they're larger, like mirror reflective pieces. The one on the left, or the one on the right, the one on the left has smaller size crystals, and it's not as thick. So it's got just as many reflective pieces to it, but they're smaller, to where the one on the bottom right, the sparkle 5, you can see this top piece here. That's a good little piece. Actually, you're actually on the top, almost 12 o'clock position of the lower right one. You can see the crystals looks like orange, greens, yellows, and kind of aqua color coming off of it. And you get more of that reflectiveness. There's also some in the center and some down here. You get more of the color reflectiveness on the larger, or the larger sparkle, the sparkle 4 or 5, that you'll get on the 2s or the 1s.
the price of a traditional engagement ring adorned with crystalline osmium, for example, typically starts at around 1,000 euros.
And then there are what I would almost call lighthouse projects, like the osmium violin, for example. It comes with an asking price of 3.5 million euros and features over 500 unique osmium elements handcrafted in Austria. Likewise, the world's most precious headphones have also integrated osmium. Now there's also someone looking to put osmium on motorcycle helmets for the first time. There are no limits to the luxury thoughts, and accordingly, of course, to the prices.
Bingo. There is no thing that you can't use it for in a luxury setting, and therefore the price. High-end stuff is where this market is in already. So you're going to tap out on a high-end, anything you make, you'll get a high-end dollar for, because it's known as a high-end market jewel or jewelry. So you're going to get top dollar for it if you create a piece. They've already done that work. See, there
First
again,
of all,
crystals.
osmium is incredibly rare. And I mean really incredibly rare. 1,500 times rarer than gold. You have about 17 to 55 cubic meters of osmium in the Earth's crust, and yet only about 1 cubic meter of that is expected to be extractable. You don't have more than 22 tons of osmium available at all. That means we are dealing with a very, very narrow market here.
Every year, leading osmium experts meet at the IPMI and at the Osmium Symposia, organized by the Osmium World Council, to calculate when the raw material, crude osmium, will run out.
We're going to try and have one of those in America for those of us here in America, since we're in Newmarket. I'll be talking to Ian about seeing about making that happen.
Ingo Wolf estimates that this event could occur in just 10 to 15 years. In America, this moment has been nicknamed the Osmium Big Bang. The consequence would probably be a massive
part of the
price
Big Bang.
increase.
Because you have a powerful effect when something runs out entirely. The crystalline osmium created from raw osmium has a secondary market. It actually goes into the vault with the real investors and stays there for 10 to 15 years. That's why they call it next generation metal.
In other words,
That's a
this
nice
means
looking
that
piece.
tangible asset investors acquire the precious metal for the next generation, their children, for example. Piece by piece, osmium is slowly moving over to the jewelry
100%,
market.
Chad.
And then it becomes less. This is called a thin out. Then you might have a very strong price effect again when it reaches zero, because there is simply nothing left. But the interesting thing is this. All other metals go back into the real asset market, but you don't recycle osmium.
For while gold and silver jewelry can be melted down and reintroduced into the tangible asset market quite easily, such a process for osmium would be prohibitively expensive.
That is why osmium will not go back to the tangible asset market from the jewelry market. This means we have a thin out. The curve goes down, down, down. And once it's at zero, then we have the second possible price effect that one could experience. And it will probably be very significant, because
No,
osmium is the
love
first
that.
precious metal to run out completely.
Another critical aspect to consider with osmium is its scarcity in its raw form, while carbon, required for cost-effective diamond production, is abundantly available. According to the Osmium Institute, it is unlikely that osmium will experience a price decline similar to that seen in the gemstone market. Approximately 1,500 partners worldwide are actively contributing to the globalization of the osmium market. Currently, Scarlett Klaus is playing a pivotal role as a liaison between these institutes, the investment sector, and
Thank you,
jewelers,
Gerald.
accelerating and simplifying the journey from raw material to the final jewelry piece.
The new markets are coming up right now in Abu Dhabi, Dubai, so the Emirates. South Korea's market is on the rise. In China, we have just opened our first branch, the Osmium Institute in China. When these markets jump in, we are simply talking about a completely different price and market development. And that is, of course, where the real price development will be really exciting.
Yep, 100%.
Simultaneously, construction is underway at the German headquarters for the inaugural European sales and showroom, serving as the flagship store for crystalline osmium and its associated products. Furthermore, a public access glass laboratory is being established. In Murnau, one can anticipate a future with a little more sparkle. And maybe one might soon hear osmium is a girl's best friend.
There you go, boys. They do not have any, Chad. I guarantee you they've never heard of it. It's too new. As they said in the video, it's only been in Europe for 10 years and in America for less than 2. 95% of your jewelers don't even know about it. 98% of them don't even know it exists. That's the best time to get into an asset, is when no one knows about it. Because as soon as they know about it, because there's so little of it, it's already going to be gone by time retail or the rest of the world know about it. There's going to be none left. That's when Egon was talking about the secondary market, and it's going to be more lucrative. That means once it's all sold out, whoever has it, you just entered the secondary market, and the amount of money you can make, exponential. This is a once in a 100 generation opportunity. You either get it or you don't get it, because by the time it takes for you to get it, it's going to be over with. It's going to be the silver squeeze on steroids and speed, because it's going to be over with by 2026. And if you don't already have some, you're going to be paying 10 times more to get it from someone who didn't pay that much to get it. It's just an incredible opportunity. It's never been around. Oh, sweet, Chad. Maybe they will know about it, but I still doubt it. Let us know next Sunday, please. Promise to keep me informed about that. I'd be very interested. Yeah, odds are zero. That's I said, like 98% chance, even if you have 1,200 distributors. Right now, there's only 2 distributors in America that have even heard or have been talking about it. So, and once one gets a hold of it, again, it's sold out. Yeah, pretty much. Ian's the man. And I'm grateful that I fit into that scenario. I'm the man in the middle. I'm stuck in the middle again. As long as fools to the left of me, clowns to the right, here I am stuck in the middle again. I wonder where JM is. He usually shows up for the Sundays. I guess there's other people out there doing live streams, occupying all of my subscribers' time when they should be here talking shit with me. I just put it, he just put out for his Monday live stream with the games. And I just typed in, I'm on my live stream. So hopefully he reads it and jumps in. Yes, I do remember that. I appreciate that, Chad. Yeah, this is the adoption of this and everything. Time periods, all this other stuff out the window. Business as usual, out the window. Rollout time, all of that's out the window. Because as people are being introduced to it, it's getting sold out. So by time 2% of America are introduced to it, it'll be sold out. As I went over the statistics, because I was doing the 2mm square osmium nose rings, there's only enough osmium on this planet for me to make 8 million of them. I can sell more than 8 million nose rings in America in a year with the proper marketing, and it pretty much sells itself. So if there's only 8 million possible that could be made with the amount above ground supply of 8 million, I mean, you're going to be lucky if I'll be lucky if I can get 200,000 of them before it's sold out. So not everyone's going to get it. And by the time those that have it or show it and other people want it, it's going to be a secondary market. That means my nose rings that are selling for 300 will sell for 2,400. And it's going to be awesome. And if you're in, you're in. If you're not, well, you're going to be paying a lot more to be in. Oh, by the way, if you look at this picture, the blue lance, it already broke on my buddy Shane's armor. You can see it in 2 pieces, and you can see the knight on the left holding the lance all the way up to the hilt part, and everything else is broken off and falling to the ground right over. It's actually, it looks like a alligator sign going to the positive or the greater than, and I'm in the center of that. And of course, Shane's lance, he hit at a better spot, and when his lance broke, the guy actually went off his horse. Yeah, I wish I could remember what fair that was at. If it was at my fair or my buddy's fair. I had my fur in 2001, but I don't. We used hay bales, but I don't remember that black lining around the ring. It's probably my buddy's. So, anyone want to talk about anything other than crystallized osmium? That'd be a negatory. AI is out. I got reverb. Sorry. Yeah, there's a lot of shit gonna come out about that because it's all bullshit. Because I mean, yeah, it's all bullshit. Well, shit for Shinola. Talk, people, chat, say something. Want to talk about anything? Not a nilch, nothing. Well, yeah, we could talk about platinum. It will be going up here shortly. That's cool. No one has to show up on a live stream. People show up on the live stream because they think they're getting information. I hope I'm giving good information. That's determined by who's on the live stream and who sees it afterwards. No, right now you can thank China for the best opportunity of a lifetime in forever, actually. As far as the price of platinum has been listed, you can thank China for being able to get it so cheap right now. But their manipulation will not last much longer. And then you're not going to be able to get it cheap, and you're going to be saying, damn, I wish I got some. That's a good one. Call your congressman, tell him to vote yes on H.R. 8421. It abolishes the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 and ends the Federal Reserve System. If we can get all of our congressmen on board to vote yes on H.R. 8421, we'll have a chance at a better America. Yeah, let me check this out here. I don't know if all of this will make it, but we can give it a shot. That technology has been around for 3 years. Now I'm going to try and get you a picture. But it's documented fact. It collects 99.9% of the fine gold. That means the guy on Lake Superior on the beach is getting gold because the final layer of gold running downhill over the millennial of it getting broken down from big rock to smaller rock to smaller rock to smaller rock to smaller rock. It goes into what's called angel's dust, which is the finest, smallest particles. It's never been recovered in history. You can go through old miners' tailings and get gold of shit they already went through. You don't even have to dig for it. You can get a guaranteed supply. Just go to an old gold mine from the 1800s that got closed down on the East Coast because the guys went to the 1849 gold rush. Go through their tailings and you will get yourself gold using that new technology that's only been around for 3 years. Never before in history have you been able to collect that kind of gold. It's easy as hell to collect. Here we go. We'll hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me get this thing over here to you. Here. Present. Share screen. Share screen. High banking gold. Share screen. All right. Let me see here. Of course, it is from, who is it from? Poly something or other.
In the first Rifalu. Yeah, we got
There's a high banker.
Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Welcome if you're new here. My name is Polly. Chris, Kyle, Jason. Chris, Kyle, and Jason, and myself are going to be doing some high banking today, and we're not going to...
See, that right there was a high banker. Let me go back to it.
Chris, Kyle, Jason, and... Chris, Kyle, and Jason, and myself are going to be doing some high...
There, that one right there. Oh, damn, it covers it up. There we go. That's the size you need. A little bit of water. That's it. That small thing there. And it's got a technology into it. You see, just put this stuff in a bucket, small bucket, run it over it, and it'll collect gold. $200, $300, and you'll make that back in a week. But that's how it works. Let me see if I don't want to get too much of this talking. He's got a lot of talking about bull crap here. Panning, da, 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 da. There we go.
Super light. I wish you had seen the start of it, but I think this one's about 8 pounds. We'll get her all set up here. It'll be nice and solid, locked in, and then we'll...
Those screens right there, that screening technology, that material is the new technology, that black stuff. And the way it's rippled, it's like, it's not a hydraulic ripple, it's a different type of ripple. And it captures every bit of that fine gold. This technology right here is the new technology.
Keep running.
The best thing about this high banker is the fact that it is purple. I love that. So Chris here has been working on this rock forever. This is like super wedged in there. What we decided we're going to do is we're just going to fill up one bucket, do one quick test run to see if it's worth working here.
This is how the high banker operation works. Eight-pound piece of equipment. Water's running too fast, but let me just change the elevation a little bit.
These are removable mats and they piece together really easily. So when a clean out comes, you just pull one mat at a time. Sorry, this is brand new. You just turn them upside down, flex them out, boom, clean mat. On to the next one. What's nice about this is there's no bolts or anything. So you're not doing like wing nuts and you're not having to do any of that. It just all peels together and you can slip it right back in. And you can clean it out in your pan. You don't have to do a giant 5-gallon bucket, you know, and like dip it in and everything. I don't see anything shiny.
Maybe one bucket, you never know.
Exactly.
We're not trying to find a lot of gold on the first cast. We're just trying to do something a lot quicker than panning. That's an interesting way you're going to pan there, bud.
Sorry, about to get it lower. Just, yeah. I got it. All right.
Yeah.
I want to try and get the gold collection part so you can see that.
I'm predicting, I don't know, 8 pieces of gold. What do you think?
3,800 pieces of gold.
I love how simple this thing is to clean out. Do we have any nuggets?
Gold right there.
Yay. We have gold in the first rifle. That's a good sign that there is gold around. And do we have any nuggets? Oh, in 10 ounces? 10 ounces. Oh, so you start with the first mat.
I like to do the first mat.
Okay.
Yeah, there's gold right there too. There's
Oh, yeah.
gold all in this first riff.
Good. So more than 8 fly poops. We're all going to spit in here now to get the remaining stuff into the pan. For round 1. So I love this place. It is so beautiful. You have the river running, green trees, blue skies, fresh air. I could live out here, except for the mosquitoes, bears, cougars, and ticks.
Anyhow, you get the idea of what a high banker is. Sorry, I wasn't in. Let me go back to read chat. Yeah, just find out a little bit. That's why I say that anywhere in the Appalachian Mountains on the East Coast, you get one of those high bankers, you go out weekend camping with the family, and take yourself a little small, not a large, just a small little water pump generator, and do a little high banking. Go to, learn a little bit about gold panning and mining first, so you better your odds of hitting a good spot, a better spot than a good spot, shall I say. And okay, say you only get like 20 little small pieces, 20 grains, that's like 1 gram. If gold goes up to 20,000, let's just make the math easy. Say it goes up to 32,000 ounces instead of 20. Say it goes up to 32 ounces. That's 1 gram would be $1,000. If it goes up to 20, it'll be like $700 for a gram. So in one day out camping with your family, if you take a couple hours and you go to the right spots, dig a couple 5-gallon buckets full, and you can make $700-800. And then the next day, do the same thing. You come back from that camping trip. Camping trip cost you $400. You made $1,400. So you made $1,000 for going camping just because you have that. Because anywhere and everywhere, there's gold. So that small particulate stuff is out everywhere. And if you, depending on where you go camping, anywhere in the Appalachians, you're going to come back with some gold. And the higher the price the gold gets, the more relevant it'll be to do that type of thing. You got to do your. I haven't done the research. I was excited about the technology, Chad, but I don't know which one's the best or anything like that. What's up, Eric? But yeah, I mean, that's why there's a YouTuber. He's out on Lake Superior in the sand as his family's out playing on the beach. He's high banking in the sand. In 2 weeks, he gets a gram. And it's not much now, but as gold goes up, it becomes worth more, and that gram becomes worth more and more. And it is out there. It's just the relevancy of the time you put in and the expense you put in to what you get out right now. The price isn't worth a lot of people doing it. But the people who are doing it are getting more efficient and knowledgeable about where to go and where to prospect and where to get the most amount for their time, to when more people get into it, they'll be getting a little bit. And the people who are already into it will be getting a lot. So it's one of those things you need to get into and go out and enjoy the wilderness in the Appalachians, if you can get out there and take that high banker with you when you go camping and become a little bit of an industrial camper, fish at the same time that you're high banking, take takes 20, 30 minutes high bank, half hour, do some fishing, get back to high banking, do some fishing, get back to high banking, do some fishing. You might get a half gram of gold. You know, right now it's not worth that much, but if they're talking $20,000 gold, half a gram is, you know, $300. That makes it worth a day of camping and fishing. It's better than just going out camping and fishing and coming back with nothing, you know. Be a little industrious. The technology now exists to make that possible. 5 years ago, that was impossible. That's what I'm saying. Technology changes stuff. That's what I'm saying, Eric. I mean, that would make for a good camping day. And you're coming back with some freaking money. Even if it's just a tenth of a gram at 2,000 or 20,000 an ounce, when it gets up that high, you know, a tenth of a gram, still $200, $150. That pays for your day out fishing and camping. And, you know, you spend 2 hours of your time high banking. It's just how industrious you want to be. There's stuff out there to make money. And if you start now and you don't turn the gold in and you save it up and you do it for, say, a year before the gold price jumps or they reset it, if that's what they're going to do, by God, you'll have over an ounce for free. And you'll have an ounce while you are out, lowering your blood pressure, getting fresh air, enjoying nature. Okay. How can you beat that? It's like a win-win. I don't know, man. I see things differently. I keep up with technology, and that new technology, 3 years, it's made that possible. And again, if you don't, here's even a better deal. If you're somewhere in the Appalachians, go where they already had a gold mine that they abandoned. Don't worry about the damn gold mine. Go to where they threw the shit away after they screeded it. I guarantee you'll get more gold there than if you go on a river and do the high banking, because they already got all the concentrated and they threw it all in one area. And you don't want to get the top of their tailings. Dig down to the bottom. That's where all that fine gold's collected. You could probably get a quarter ounce a day going through old tailings because it's more concentrated. I mean, if you just put some thought into it, a little bit of research, it could turn out to be a profitable weekend out camping. So what if you don't have to fish because they're not near water where they did the mine where the tailings are? You know, you can still camp and go through the tailings. You know, if you're into precious metals, that's one way to be into precious metals, in my opinion. And fresh air, get rid of stress, you know, take beautiful pictures of nature, maybe see some salmon or whatever, fish, stripers, whatever, beautiful sunsets, relaxing time, collecting some gold at the same time. It's better than, you know, sitting around watching football, in my opinion. And yeah, I'm probably going to do that once I get my shit together, make some money, and can leave this area. I will probably go because I have the benefit out here in California. During the gold rush, we were actually getting over 3 foot of rain a year. So now we get like 10 inches a year. So all I got to do is go out and where the Amador River is and look a half mile left or right of the river in the mountains and see the dry gullies that have been dry for 100 years. And that's where I'll go high banking, because 150 years ago, there was 3 foot of rain, and that dry gully has been dry for 100, 150 years. So I had water running through it, washed gold. And people don't go there looking for gold because they think of, oh, running water, rivers. Even Dan Hurd will tell you, hang out near the river. He doesn't tell you to go, because in this scenario, they get as much rain as they got 150 years ago. Here in California, we don't. So you have the unique possibility of getting actually more gold because water hasn't run down that gully or ravine for 150 years. And so no one's gone there, and the gold is still there. Just the water quit running over it. Isn't that amazing? Water quit running over it. So that means the gold disappear, or just people not thinking about going where water doesn't run over it to get gold. You know, it's a thought process. Every environment has its uniqueness to it. California, we have the uniqueness of, and quite frankly, all the trees are burning down. And that's a great thing for gold mining here in California, gold panning, gold prospecting, anything. Because as the trees burn down in the mountains, the wintertime comes, rains come, all the tree roots that were embedded in the rock are all burned out. So water gets in there, then they freeze, break apart the rock. You have landslides, new gold's deposited in the river. This year's fires, just like 3-4 years ago, is going to put a lot of new gold next spring into the river, along with the Klamath River, the uphill river that feeds in the Klamath River, having that 1/4 mile long landslide that dammed it up naturally. The impact of the water rushing down for the 37 miles down that river till it hit the Klamath River, a lot of new gold was deposited in the Klamath River. And that was just last week. So if you keep up on things and you learn enough about things, you can look. And when that one river got dammed up that day, if I was, capable of it, I would have called Space Miner, said, let's fly up there and fucking go camping and fucking pick up the gold, because that river that was 8-10 foot deep in the center, it's dry now because of a natural 1/4 mile wide dam. Let's go in there for the day or two. It's dry at the bottom of that riverbed with some metal detectors and pick a couple ounces of gold up. But I wasn't that industrious to do that. But the people in the area, if they didn't do that, they're fools. Yeah, that water rushing down, it changed the direction of that river, the banks of that river, because I saw lots of historic houses get washed away as it tore away the banks, because the amount of force after that natural dam broke, and it stripped a lot of new land along that riverbed. And then you got to think all that stuff runs downhill, hitting different side banks, a big 40-foot limb hitting a side bank, it digs into it, and then water, boom, more erosion, new shit deposited. Or should I say, an unnaturally large amount of naturally deposited stuff gets naturally deposited all at once because of a natural event of a landslide that occurred and caused the river to quit flowing for 5 days. And then all of a sudden started flowing at 5 times the rate for a week. The fact that the 1/4 mile landslide deposited a lot of new gold because it stripped half that mountain of its side when it fell into the river. So much so it dammed it up. And it was a fast moving river. It's like when the dam failed up here in Northern California, that overspilled. As soon as it failed, it hit that mountainside. It stripped 30 foot of topsoil off that mountainside down to bedrock on the top of what's up, Homestead? At the top of the Amador River. It stripped 30 foot of that mountain and it hit bedrock, and the water was just like, it was like a fire, 50 fire hoses hitting that mountain. It stripped it right down to bedrock. All that gold was deposited in Amador River. That's why people are still panning on the Amador, finding gold after 1849, 1850, 1950, after 180 years, 70 years, they're still finding gold in the same river that tens of thousands of people were finding gold at 170 years ago. That's how much gold's getting deposited in that river. That's a lot of gold. We're talking almost two centuries of people digging gold out of that river constantly. Well, with the way gold works in the flows of river, the fine gold gets deposited in the sand and gets covered up and buried in the sand of the banks. So when the banks get stripped, all that Angel's gold, which I should have showed you the high banker collects, all of it, all concentrated, gets reintroduced into that fast moving river and deposited downstream in large quantities, comparatively for the small amount of gold that it is. Actual large quantities, not like you're going to find nuggets of 10 ounces or anything like that. That's going to be pretty much impossible. The reason why people are still panning and high banking for gold is because the technology changed, allowing them, like, for example, up on the Amador River, they've got mining sites for sale that you can buy for a year. About 5 years ago, metal detecting technology changed to where instead of penetrating 3 to 6 inches of bedrock, the metal detector went down a foot and a half into bedrock, making all those mining plots that people had been picking over for 100 years, made them brand new again because the technology changed to where you could detect gold 1 foot into that crack of that bedrock, to where it made it worthwhile to break into it, where before you didn't even detect it was there. So it makes it new ground all over again. Technology over the past 7 years has made gold finding so easy. There's this guy, Niels Hahn Dynasty, says buy silver, platinum, and osmium. Find gold. It's easy. Technology says so. Will you find an ounce? No. But will you spend $2,400 on an ounce? Hell no. You ain't going to spend no money on it. You're going to get all your money back plus some if you go find it. It's out there to be found everywhere, more concentrated in the high gold regions. Northern California, Southern Oregon, the lower half of the Appalachian Mountains. Lower half of the Appalachian Mountains is even better than Northern California and Southern Oregon because no one's been looking for it there with this new technology that's only been around for 7 years and 3 years respectively in the Appalachians, because everyone's concentrating in Oregon and California. So the opportunity to find a large amount of that small gold is highly possible in the Southern Appalachian Mountains. The cheapest place to buy land in the Southern Appalachian Mountains is the far south of those mountains, where all that fine gold would have been deposited over a millennium that no one in history has ever tried to collect because technologies haven't been around for them to collect it, would be Alabama and Georgia and North Carolina on the southwest side of North Carolina. Those 3 states are the states you want to be in to find massive amounts of this new technology that allows you to get gold that's never been got before in history. One reason why I want to move to Alabama, along with several other reasons. 0.02% tax on your land is also a very good reason to move to Alabama. 49th lowest property tax in America. That's an enticement. Open land going for $2,000 an acre. That's fucking shit. California, 2,000 now, try 20,000 an acre, and you're paying like 3% property tax. Or you can go to Alabama and get it for 1/10 the price and pay 1/10 the tax, and there's 10 times as much gold. Oh, hold on. Let's think about that. What would be the smart move? Oh, Alabama. Yes, Alabama for $500, Jack. Alex, excuse me. So Alabama's the place to go. Find gold, get cheap land, stay on your land, get the gold with modern technology, pay for your land with the gold you get off your land because you bought it in the right spot and you did your research. Or just do what Neil did because he already did all that. Oh, and also benefit off your land on top of getting gold. Start a Ren Fair or a Western Roundup and make a couple 100,000 extra a year on your land in case you don't find enough gold. And then you're living like a king on your own land, getting your own gold, having people bring you money once a year. And you don't even have to leave your land. God, that sounds like paradise, doesn't it? I think it does. That's why I'm going to do it. And competition, America being what it is, the best man wins. You think you can do it and open up next to me? Yeah. Business fight is on. I see who produces the best show, who the people want to keep, who they don't. And then let the business work the way business works. No hard feelings. I've been looking at this for over 20 years. Tried it once 23 years ago. Got my feet wet. Been going over it, thinking it, researching it. So I'm pretty sure you don't want to open up one near me. But do give it a try in other places. And, you know, Renaissance fairs only work mostly in the East and Southeast because there's this thing called the Society for Creative Anachronisms, SCA. In reality, it's actually through legislation, everyone has to register their weapons. So it's the 4th largest standing army in the world, because in the Society for Creative Anachronisms, what they do is they recreate historical battles like the Battle of Hastings or any of those battles. And everyone who's in the Society for Creative Anachronisms, or SCA, all have weapons like bows, crossbows, trebuchets, swords, daggers, axes, and most of them are proficient in those. and those are what's known as hand-to-hand combat weapons. So as a united number, that society, the SCA, actually has more members that have hand-to-hand combat training and weapons, as they're actually considered the fourth largest standing army in the world, and the majority of them are located in the southeast of America, for those that are in America. And that's why a Renaissance fair in the southeast part of America would do well. Out in the west, Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico, Utah, Nevada, you do a Western Roundup or something like that, which is the same principle as a Ren fair, just different acts and a different stage. That's all. It's the same principle. It's a business. So you can do that out west. And so it's regionally, whatever you want to run. But if you can get some land and do that, it's a prosperous thing to do. Well, you can take a vacation homestead. Take a couple of days, go up there, find yourself some gold. What are we talking about here? Uninvited guest, huh? Huh. I lost conversation because that's running my mouth. Oh, Chad, yeah, the largest Mississippi River, actually, the Corps of Engineers, some of engineers spend billions of dollars to prevent the Mississippi from weighing or ebbing and flowing, because down towards the tributary of the Mississippi, naturally, the river wants to swing east and west through different years, and they have come up with different technologies that you see on the sides of the Mississippi River. It's like a 25 to 35 foot long tie wire and kind of brick associated thing. And they've made this special boat and they lay it on the river banks to prevent the river from ebbing and flowing and taking all that sand and moving it. And they do that because they dredge the Mississippi every year so that they can keep it open for boat travel. They've been doing that for like 30, 40 years. I actually saw a documentary on the machines they made and the process of making the screen that they lay on the side of the riverbanks to keep it from eroding away or ebbing and flowing, which it does naturally. And also that also affects the mangroves around the New Orleans and down towards that area, which affects the flooding of hurricanes, because the mangroves are actually natural buffers for hurricanes and what's that, wave action, and they destroy all that while they're trying to maintain the pathway of the Mississippi River. That was a lot to say. I actually know a lot about that. Oddly enough, I know it. I seem to know a lot about a lot. Been alone most of my life. Documentaries from a best friend. After about 30 years of watching documentaries, you know some shit. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. There's a new Panama Canal route planned, actually two of them, one by rail, one actually a canal. There's another planned Red Sea Canal that they have now. Israel's planning a different one. There's several different canals because their hot spots are drying up or whatever, that are in operation to replace the now canals that we have for power and control. Actually, Turkey, the reason why Turkey, I did a video on this just came back to me. Turkey was building another canal because they got a canal that runs through Charlemagne. It's Istanbul now, I think. Yeah. But and treaties, that's why I did a long time, about a year ago, I was talking about treaties and trade agreements being the future, because Turkey went into a separate contract with Russia to build a parallel canal to the canal that runs through Istanbul, that's controlled by contract, not to allow Russian warships through. So Turkey started building a separate canal that would allow Russian warships into the Mediterranean, and they got hit with sanctions real hard, and that's when their inflation went whoopsie doos, and then they stopped with the canal, but they still got punished, and they're suffering that. And then they had the second world's largest open pit gold mine a mile away from the Euphrates, but because of their improper mining techniques over the generations that they use arsenic and human mining basically in the open pit, and they had a large landslide, and it stopped short of the Euphrates River, and war almost broke out against Turkey because like Afghanistan, Syria, and a couple other countries said, hey, if you fucking pollute the Euphrates River, we're going to war with you because we rely on that river for our life, and it doesn't need to have your arsenic covered gold tailings in that river polluting it. So Turkey shut down last year that until they fixed that environmental problem, and no one talked about it. But I think that had, since it was the world's second largest gold pit on the planet as far as gold production, it got shut down for 2 freaking years. That means for 2 years there was zero gold production from the second largest open pit gold mine in the world. The open pit gold mines are the largest producers of gold. So there was a large chunk of gold not produced for 2 years, and no one talked about it. I think that might have had something to do with this thing called supply and demand, which also might have something to do with the price, not just inflation. But how many grams is a half ounce? 16. Matthew. Yeah, 16. Unless you do troy ounce to regular ounce. So if you do, I think it's troy ounce 32.5 or something off the top of my head. It's different from regular ounce. Troy ounce, regular ounce are different. So it depends on which ounce you're talking about. Yeah, Gerald's 31 something. Yeah, so it depends on what ounce you're talking about, troy ounce or regular ounce. Yeah, so it'd be 15.5. I think that's a troy ounce. Regular ounce is 32. Easy Google search. I'm just not doing the Google search. So I went on a rant about gold, about Turkey getting hit with inflation because they were building a second canal for Russia so they could get their Russian warships to the Mediterranean. And that was the cause of their actually economic demise. And that was because America, another reason why they wanted to get away from the SWIFT system, is we actually control them through treaties and trade agreements, which new ones are being forged right now, which will change charts as soon as those new trade agreements and treaties are signed. And also you will find out China is going to go bankrupt because in those new treaties and trade agreements, you're going to find out that Russia has found that they can keep the Northern Passage open year round, which will save shipping. If it goes to use the Northern Passage, it'll save shipping no less than 30% every time they ship something. So that means that every deep water port that China has sunk money into will go bankrupt because they won't be being used because everyone's going to use the Northern Passage because it's cheaper and there's no terrorists up there in the freezing cold. So it's safer. It saves them on fuel, saves them on man hours, saves them on insurance, saves them on time. Why would they not use the Northern Passage? All these other canals and all these other deep water ports, everyone thinks China's this, that, and the other because they own them. They don't understand. They own shit. Because as soon as the Northern Passage gets open, no shipping in the world is going to use nothing but the Northern Passage because of money. They're going to save 1/3 of every dollar they're going to make pure profit on if they use the Northern Passage. So why would they not use the Northern Passage? There's the end of that story. Economics and business is going to bankrupt China, the CCP, as we know it. That government's going away. It is a foregone conclusion. It just has not happened yet. I guarantee you, this is not financial advice by no means, but you can take financial advantage of it. If you know and agree it is coming, it will come. China will go bankrupt, and all those deep water ports will turn into tourist attractions when the country tries to do something with it because it's no longer used as a deep water port because all shipping's through the Northern Passage, and Russia's going to be richer than hell because they're getting all the money for the shipping. No other country right now, 5 or 6 different countries are getting paid for shipping using this canal, this waterway, that waterway. All that shit's going to be out. They're all going to lose money, and Russia's going to get all of it. So don't count Russia out. They're rich as hell. So rich that they just built 3 of the world's largest nuclear-powered icebreakers to guarantee business community that they will be able to keep the Northern Passage open year round. That's how convinced that Russia is. And we're talking billion-dollar boats, and they're building 3 of them. So either they're stupid as fuck and don't know what they're doing, or I'm right. I think I'm right. Yeah, Russia is making more money now that sanctions are on than ever before, and no one's talking about it. Because all these countries joining BRICS, what that means is they're now buying Russian oil, and they're avoiding our sanctions. So who's getting rich? Avoiding our sanctions. Think about it. Think it through. Why do we put sanctions on them? If they avoid the sanctions, what's happening? They're making shitloads of money. The one thing that's going to kill them on oil is Nigeria. No one's looking at that. Nigeria just opened up the world's largest refinery. It refines 10 times the amount of oil of OPEC. Of OPEC. They refine 10 times more oil than OPEC, their new refinery. What's that tell you? Think about it. Think what's the next step and the step after that. Bye-bye OPEC. That'll be about 5 years away. You can say, hold on, didn't Neil say back in 2024 that OPEC was going to be gone by 2030? Yep, he damn sure did. No one's talking about that, but it's going to happen. Africa's richest man just bet several $billions that it's going to happen. No one's talking about that either. No. You need 10 times more platinum than gold. You'll be a lot better off. That's not financial advice. Oh, and I have other financial experts that are on. I heard from another YouTuber who had this PM expert on, and he refused to talk about platinum. And he asked him behind the scenes, and I can say this because I'm not saying the name of the show or the guest. So basically, you just got to believe me. I'm either telling the truth or bullshitting. But the guest, the YouTuber who I know, told me that when he asked the guest, he said, well, it's not that I don't want to talk about platinum. It's that I don't know enough about platinum, but what I do know about platinum is China's controlling the price. And that's all he said. And that goes 100% along with what I've been saying for over a year and a half, that China has manipulated the price of it through the One Belt Road Initiative that South Africa signed on to. And when South Africa joined BRICS, they kind of sealed their fate, and China owned them. And China's making lots of money off of them, bankrupting them, because that's what the One Belt Road Initiative does. And I also did a video proving that's what it does when Italy got away from the One Belt Road Initiative after a year, when they actually got conclusive numbers on the trade agreements that supposedly were supposed to go certain ways, numbers this, percentages of that. And it worked exactly the opposite in favor of China and against Italy. And the prime minister came out of Italy and said, hey, China, screw off. We're backing out of this deal. It'll bankrupt us if we stay. And that was a definite, clear sign that, well, that means Africa is getting bankrupt like China, but by China the same way as Italy was going to, but they saw it and stopped it because they're not as greedy as the South African leaders are. And for the rest of the story, but that's the story on platinum. And more people will be talking about it within the next couple of months. And they'll be telling you, oh, this happened. And you'll be like, oh, didn't Neil say that's what happened? So that's why I'm happy every time I hear someone bought platinum, because they heard me say buy platinum, silver, platinum, and not crystallized osmium, because it truly will be one of the greatest investments, in my opinion, not being financial advice, that people make, as long as they get it below $1,000 an ounce. You're going to be like, holy shit, I did do a lot better. Hey, you take care, Homestead. Thank you for stopping by, brother. I appreciate it, man. But yeah, you're gonna anyone who has platinum, you will be happy you have it for the same reason you invest in gold and silver. You'll be more happy with platinum. Just because the experts aren't talking about it, the experts that do say something all say, I don't know nothing about it. Yeah, no one's watching it, bro. No one. That makes them not experts. Experts know about that stuff. I'm not an expert because I don't know about the other metals. I do know a lot about platinum and crystallized osmium. Silver, not so much. Gold, I know gold's everywhere. I'll never buy it. Well, it's too new. They haven't really done any. It's taken market cap. Anytime you take market cap, that means you're taking someone else's money. So you're not going to have a fun road of getting anything done if you're new to the block. And crystallized osmium is going to be gone before it's old to the block. So there's really no use chasing that dog's tail. I mean, I'm talking to Gerald here about this question or this statement he made. But anyhow, palladium, if you watch Arcadia Economics, a good friend of mine knows the guy. His name's Vinny Vince. He does a show, and I support him. I watch him. You know, I subscribe to him, but he's got his call on palladium is it's going to go to zero. Okay, I'm not that bad. I say I wouldn't look at buying it till it's in the 700s or 600s per ounce. That's what I'll say. I believe it's going to go down, and this is not financial advice. It's just my opinion. I believe it'll go down to 600 or 700. And the reason why it used to be this use case with platinum supposedly was interchanged for catalytic converters every 10 years. The car industry would sign 10-year contracts for palladium or platinum based on the price. But because of new technologies, platinum is going to far surpass use case of palladium, which means it'll probably never again be used in catalytic converters because it's going to be too expensive, because its use cases and the newer technologies are going to make it more prevalent to be used in that other than in just catalytic converters. So once there's no competition for catalytic converters, you'd think the price of palladium would go up, but there is really not that much other use case for it, and there's a lot of it. So it's a supply and demand thing, and there's going to be too much supply of palladium and not enough use case for it. So the price will drop. Yeah, it's totally devoid of the market. It is a unique, not only, there's so many things about crystallized osmium and osmium. Not only is it new to the market and all this other stuff that we've already talked about, it is not going to be around long enough, because the way larger businesses, the slower they work. So before they see crystallized osmium as a threat to their market share, it's already going to be sold out and in the secondary market, and they're not going to be able to do anything about it. So Gerald's statement is 100% true. Osmium, I would go as far as saying, will not be affected by the market tug of war. Because if you look at this past chart, it's gone up year after year, every year, 15% every year since it's been introduced to the market. Nothing else. If anyone took a serious look, any professional took a serious look at the charts, they'd be buying crystallized osmium, because the charts show it's only going up. Yeah, it's got its downs, but its trajectory is up. It hasn't had a lull or a down or a sideways action for a couple of years. None of that. It's always been up and down, always more up than down, always more up and down, always more consistently. Not too many stocks or portfolios out there can do that. Not portfolios, but assets. And the more you get in early, the better off you will be. Oh gosh, that's just no truer statement with this stuff, people. This is the time. This is the PM. This is the market, jewelry. Others have spent a decade building it for high-end retail jewelry. For us to hop in at the low-end scale and sell the high-end stuff. Just think about it. That is an opportunity of a freaking lifetime. In my opinion. Right on, Matthew. Well, I'm going to be shutting it down here shortly anyhow. It seems like there's other lives going that are occupying a lot of other people's that are usually here's time. Everybody needs more platinum, brother. Problem is, most people don't even know they need it. And unfortunately, there's not enough time to wake people up to tell them about it. I've been putting 2.5 years into it and haven't woken. I mean, yes, everyone is woke now about platinum. Most likely it's because of me. That's still not enough. Not even close. We need about 10% of the nation buying platinum. We don't even have 1/10 of a percent. So we're 95% behind. And that's on other people. It's not on me. It does make sense. If it doesn't make sense, you use Sherlock Holmes' deductive reasoning. How is it? Okay, first you find out how much it costs to get to market. And then you look at the price. And you're like, holy cow, how can they get it to market for $400, $350 cheaper than it costs to bring it to market? Then you look at the charts and see if there's any anomalies in charts. There happens to be an anomaly in the charts. It happens to be doing more research. The same time, South Africa, around about a year and a half before South Africa joined BRICS and the One Belt Road Initiative. And from that point on, it's been steadily downward action for the first time in recorded history. My dumbass self, consider that to be more than enough evidence of manipulation. Who's manipulated it and why? So I got the who, where, when, why all answered. So unless someone can come up with a better explanation other than, oh, it's natural. No, it's not. It's natural for platinum to be 2 to 2.5 times the price of gold. That's the historic 100-year natural of it. That changed in around 2011. What happened in 2011 or around there? Oh, they joined BRICS. Well, let's find out what BRICS is. Find out what BRICS is. All right. And they joined the One Belt Road Initiative. Now you look at the One Belt Road Initiative, see what countries had looked like after they joined it. Oh, clear and defined. That is the reason. Because they are in BRICS and joined the One Belt Road Initiative, they fucking lost their capability of controlling their natural resources by selling them off while in the ground to another country for cash up front because they're corrupt leaders that have been in control for 30 years. I mean, to me, it makes perfect sense. And I dropped out of high school. So if anyone is more intelligent than a high school dropout, you should be able to see it easily. See, but the thing is, and I believe you are correct. But see, the thing is, on that statement, it says holding gold, silver, Bitcoin, altcoins, properties, skills, assets, possessing wins. But the platinum in that statement, how many years and how many people are talking about the platinum? I've heard people talk about gold, silver, Bitcoin, altcoins, properties, skill sets. I've heard all that, but the platinum is the part people don't talk about. That's why I say that one's going to be the most. Because if these smart people are talking about these other things, saying these other things about these other things, and they're right, then platinum fits in there, but they never talk about it. And I found in my limited 56 years on this planet that when things happen that no one talks about, it's for a reason. I don't know what the reason is, but I do know that the price is being suppressed. So I can only presume the reason they're not talking about it is because they don't want to take it's a limited supply. If people knew it was so suppressed and had the information and believed the information that I do, they would be buying it. Therefore, the people that want to keep it suppressed, or the people that know of the suppression, want to keep it suppressed so they can buy it, not have other people buy it, so they have the opportunity to buy more of it. So the more people that buy it, they have less opportunity, so they can't take advantage of it, so they don't talk about it, so people don't know about it. That's why someone, idiot, starts a show 2.5 years ago who used to be an iron worker, who doesn't know shit and didn't graduate college, starts talking about it because he sees it. The experts don't see it. Why? Experts didn't see it, but my dumbass did. Why? Why did every PM expert and economist out there not see this or talk about this? Why? They're talking about it now because I've talked about it for so long. I've been a thorn in the side of whoever doesn't want people to talk about it, whoever that is. That's why I added Prince of Platinum to my name. I'll lead the charge on it. I know I'm pissing someone off. It's probably someone who's very rich and very powerful who I shouldn't piss off. But, yeah, I'm a dumbass. I didn't graduate high school. I don't care. I just hope a couple thousand people take advantage of it and make money off of it. Just like whoever's trying not to tell us about it wanted. Because the only reason you would not talk about an asset that's so damn cheap in his history is because, I don't know. You can speculate all you want. Why would no one talk about it? It's a great opportunity. Why would no one talk about it? Yeah, well, I'm pretty good at that, Gerald. Been a fighter my whole life. Might as well use the skill, right? Hell, I've even challenged 2 people on the World Platinum Council because I told them I wanted their job. That's how bold I am. I love myself, man. Oh, well, maybe one day I'll get a job by showing them off. I'll be like, fuck this kid, man. He's been telling us shit. Give me a job. Neil Hans, part of the World Platinum Council. There you go. Now we going somewhere, babies. People be knowing about platinum. You guys are part of the World Platinum Council. Why don't people know about platinum? You ain't doing your job. More people know about platinum because of me, not because I don't even know who you are, and you're on part of the fucking World Council. Why aren't you out there running your mouth, telling people about it, promoting your product? Makes you wonder, huh? But anyhow, we'll find out. And thank you guys for joining the journey of finding out. Stay with me for the next year or two. We'll have answers to some of these questions. And enjoy the journey together. I poked the bear. You guys can virtually watch me get eaten alive by the bear that I poked. Yeah, I know how to avoid bears. Bring a fat guy. Run faster than the next guy. You'll be fine. Now it's actually real easy not to get attacked by bears, bro. Even if you poke them. When I don't go out camping a lot, and it's weird, and yes, it is weird. But those little bottles of Lysol that are about 1 inch round and about 5 inches tall, they're good for about a minute and a half of spray. One of those and a lighter is what I carry with me. I never had bear spray or any of that other stuff. I make noise. And my theory is if one's coming at me, the one thing that a lesser species that cannot create fire is terrified of. Screw the chemical sprays. We're talking innate fear, bred fear is fire. So if you have yourself a small flamethrower, which a small Lysol bottle and a lighter is, it throws out about a 2-foot flame, makes it, and you can feel the heat from about 10 foot away. But more importantly, you can see it from about 50 or 60 foot away. And one instinctiveness in all creatures is fire, run, not towards, away from. It's a natural instinct embedded in every creature out there. Trust me, I live in California. You see creatures run from fire. They're not running into it. It's an innate instinct of theirs. Beyond pepper spray, beyond everything. Fire, they run from. So if you bring a little fucking Lysol bottle and a lighter and just squirt it, you will see the north end of a southbound bear with quickness. But they don't tell you about that. They tell you, pepper spray, pepper spray. Yeah. Hope he doesn't keep his eyes shut and still pissed off in attack mode, because they got real good hearing too. Means they can keep their eyes closed, hold their breath for about 2 minutes, and do some damage. Hope that pepper spray works so that bear is not as pissed off to do all that stuff, because it's all capable of doing all that stuff. One thing it's not capable of, running into fire. It's incapable of that. So bring fire. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, laying down don't really work. The first thing they go for is your sphincter. And the first thing, what's a human do? A male, when an animal sticks his nose at his butt. He's not laying there much longer now, is he? He's moving around. Now you just got eaten. Helps the animal husbandry or animal behaviors. That's why I'm good with the big cats. I can read a big cat quicker than I can read a human woman. No offense to any ladies watching this. Now, one thing you want to do when a silverback gorilla comes to you is definitely never make eye contact. And if he's charging you, keep your head down and don't move. No matter how close he gets, he's well enough aware of himself and his own abilities, and he'll come within a couple inches of you, but he won't hit you. You'll probably pass out from fear, but he won't hit you. Yeah, it's kind of scary when a 500-pound fucking gorilla comes running at you. But if you're not looking at him and your head's down, all you got... Actually, I'd close my eyes. That way you get the true fear of the sound only. You don't know if it's actually going to happen until it's over with, and you can shit your pants and piss yourself. And then have your friends laugh at you because he wasn't going to do anything to you. But it helps to know the animal's behaviors before you mess with animals. One thing you never want to mess with is a chimpanzee. They're cannibals. They are actually the one creature capable of murder, as definition of murder, is a chimpanzee and a human being. Let that sink in. Yeah, chimpanzees are ruthless little bastards. All right, guys, I think I'm going to end this stream. Seems like we've lost everybody anyhow. I appreciate everyone for coming in here. And hope you all have a nice week coming up. I might throw in a random live stream depending on what the hell happens. And other than that, I'll definitely see you guys on some other live stream, or definitely someday if you decide to come back here at my live stream. So unless anyone wants to chit chat on the backstage part, the link is pinned. You can come on. I'll end stream and you'll be backstage. But if that's not happening, I will go ahead and end the stream right now and wish you guys the best week possible coming up. Keep your heads up, eyes swivel, and be kind, helpful, grateful. God bless America. Have a great week. Talk to you later.